How's it going, you guys? My name is Demize, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to get to the final wave of the Frost Moon event solo without any cheats or server mods, and all in a single night. I'm going to be overlaying some images and talking a bunch in the first few minutes, showing off all the items I used, as the first few waves go by quickly and for the most part uneventful, as the arena pretty much takes care of all the smaller enemies quite easily without me having to do much work. I am using a Mage loadout for this video, but I do know that it is possible with different types such as melee with the North Pole, and just different magic weapons and accessories, but this is what I personally used, and if you got something that works better for you, then go ahead and use it. The most important items of this loadout are of course the accessories and their modifiers, as they are what really bump up your DPS as a mage, so I went with the lucky modifier on all my accessories to get as much damage as possible. The accessories I use are the Destroyer Emblem, the Avenger Emblem, the Sorcerer Emblem, the Celestial Stone, and Star Veil. The two weapons that I used were the Nimbus Rod with the Demonic prefix, and the Frost Staff with the Mythical prefix. You could of course use any other weapons that you find more useful, but these are the two that I used. Now, as for buffs and potions, you do not need even half of the weapons that you see here, as the Shine, Night Owl, Hunter Potion, and Spelunker Potion all simply light up or add a glow effect to various things, and are really just there so you can actually see what's happening on screen, since it is indeed quite dark at night. The two that I do recommend, however, include the Magic Power Potion if you're playing as a mage, since it increases magic damage by a significant 20%. The other potion you should definitely use is any of the several potions that grants you the Well Fed buff, and as you can see I went with the Pumpkin Pie, as it is quite easy to farm if you have a pumpkin patch set up. The last and probably most important consumable you should have is at least a full stack of Greater Mana Potions, as in this loadout I'm no longer using Magic Cups, which are without a doubt a very useful magic accessory, but since we want to reach the final wave we need all the damage that we can get, and thus I'm using Greater Mana Potions instead whenever I need it. So that does it for all the items I use, so I can actually talk about some gameplay and the general strategy that you're going to want to follow. So as you've seen, I have greatly improved and modified the arena even since my last map download, as I needed to make some adjustments for the nerf on the Spectre armor, as well as to take on the Frost Moon itself. I therefore greatly reduced the number of flame traps down to 6 I believe, so that will definitely help you guys out with frame rate problems, and I also added teleporters on either side of the arena to instantly spawn enemies into the death pit in the center filled with spiky balls. The spiky ball traps on either side will for the most part take care of the elf copters as well as the flockos, which are the flying snowflake enemies. And really you don't need to worry about any other enemies other than the bosses or mini bosses, so the arena definitely helps a lot. Since I have the Star Veil equipped, it doesn't make much of a difference if I try to dodge enemies or not, since towards the final waves you can't really help it that much, so I generally just stay in the center platform and occasionally drop down to pick up some health as I need it. You should definitely focus on the ground enemies as much as you can, and also refresh your Nimbus Clouds over the teleporters, as the constant DPS is what's keeping you alive. I usually only go after queens if they are spinning or if I feel that I have a good handle on their attack pattern, and can actually hit them decently since there is of course that annoying slight delay on the Blizzard Staff. So with all these items and this arena, it is not very difficult to hit the final wave consistently, it's just how fast you get to it that varies. So yeah, I think that will do for all my talking. This has definitely been one of my longer videos, but if it helped you out, go ahead and leave me a like, and of course there will be a link below to download both my character and my world save. So yeah, hope you guys have a nice day.